the Evergreen Media Network studios, brought to you by Evergreen Media, creating cohesive marketing campaigns. Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Growing Old Fearlessly. I am your host, Julie, and this is part 2 of my conversation with my best friend. First, I want to thank Evergreen Media for making this show possible. If you would like to host your own podcast, all you have to do is just go to their website at egreenmedia.com and you'll get more information. So this is a show about navigating the process of growing older one day at a time and possibly taking care of an elderly parent, a neighbor, a friend. And talking about friends, I got my best friend here, Kelly Papagikos. Thank you and welcome back. I have a quote that I know you're going to like. This is by Khalil Gibran. He said, "A friend who is far away is sometimes much nearer than one who is at hand."
So important.
And boy, is that true or what? So we just got done with our part 1 of conversations with my best friend. This is part 2. I would like to talk more about the things that you do that you know because you do it for a living. And let's get right on to it. You are the marketing director for a home health and hospice at Beata. Mm-hmm. You used to work as an administrator at an independent living community in North Carolina. Some of the things that you are going to be talking about may be slightly different than the way that healthcare works in Florida. But, you know, this podcast goes nationwide, actually worldwide. So this is information that just needs to be shared. And a lot of people need to be hearing this because we have a lot of people that are growing older. The younger generations, I think they're being a little bit more moderate with how many kids they have. So the ones that were born in the 30s, in the 40s, in the
generation.
50s. Yes. So let's talk a little bit about personal care and companionship, private duty, nursing care, home health care. Go on.
Julie, it's a loaded question. And this is a great question. And this is so very important. And if your listeners take anything from this, listen to the benefits of what I have to say. Because so much of the world today wants us to pay for everything that's out there. Our children are navigating their way through their lives. Therefore, they do not know and they're not aware of what's in there for the future for their parents. So let's start at the beginning. You mentioned friendship, and that was the first part of your show. Super, because your parents' friendships are going to be so important moving forward into the future. So let's say, for example, Julie, your elderly parents living in their home. They're up there in age, and they're now looking at each other, deciding, what's the next step for our life? Do we want to downsize? Are we going to stay here? Are we going to burden our children who don't live here? Are we going to have enough money to even think about an assisted living? What if we bring somebody into our home? Do you think a few hours a day to have somebody help us with our medication is going to be good? Do you think a few hours a day to watch our parents overnight is going to be good? When is it appropriate for our children to put a camera in our parents' home who won't, or are not able to afford these other luxuries? Because let's face it, assisted living, home health care, they're all big business and they cost money. But there's a part of all this that people don't know. Medicare, and I'm determined to break the seams of hospice and home health to let you know what benefits are out there for Medicare that can get covered, so that can give you a little bit of comfort. We're going to talk about a 5 to 7 year look back, because like you said, in different states, it is different. When to talk to your children about becoming your POA. So important. Becoming that next step of your parents' life and navigating what they want and their wishes everyone out there needs to speak to an elder care attorney. Find out what you need to do. Find out what your medical benefits will cover. And please listen when I say your benefits. Let me give you an example of that. I'm going to backtrack just a little bit and go into home health and hospice. Sooner than later is better. Use those Medicare benefits. They cover 100% of your care. Now let's start backwards and go to the differences. Your elderly parents are deciding to move into an independent living facility or stay at home. Even in an independent living facility, they can choose to have home care. What is home care? Who pays for home care? This is how you determine whether they're going to need care around the clock or just wait as long as they can in their home to make sure that their home is safe. And children, listen carefully. The safety is the number one issue that we have with our elderly parents. Julie, you said before that you found your father, in the bathroom. We're going to discuss taking things out of, I hope that we go to a 2 and 3 and 4 podcast on this, because God knows I can talk forever on this. Looking at your parents' surroundings, removing the things from a parent that wants to stay in their home as much as possible, making sure their medications are handy, making sure they have no trip hazards, getting rid of some of their furniture that they do not need, making sure that food is delivered to their home so that you don't have to worry about it. And when, like I said before, is it important to maybe put a camera in there to say, hey, Mom, Dad, don't forget to take your medication today. Hey, it's me, Anthony, or it's me, Priscilla, and I just wanted to stay on top of you and say hello. You doing okay? Respect their boundaries, but also let them know that you're, as their caregiver, the main caregiver, your children are there to respect, again, their boundaries, their personal self, and to also let them know that you're a part of those decisions, especially if you're far away.
Right. So you mentioned the camera, and I have to add to this that I did put cameras at my dad's home, and obviously not in his private areas.
Of course.
Got to respect his boundaries.
Absolutely.
But it was because of that camera that I rushed to his house when I found him unconscious on the bathroom floor, because I kept looking through the camera. And it had been more than 45 minutes since I had been looking and didn't see him. And that was odd. It was not his usual behavior. So I stopped everything I was doing, rushed over, found him. If it hadn't been for that, because I knew his habit, right? I probably would have gone there 2 hours later, and the result would have been totally different.
And let's face it, Julie, like we touched upon earlier, our children live far away. I am blessed to have 4 boys. They all live far away from us. We happen to have a Blink camera for our cats to watch our cats when we're at work and watch our cats. And like you said, we know their routine. But what a great opportunity to, besides scaring the daylights out of your parents when you come up and say, hey, Mom and Dad, it's me. But what a great reminder, because it costs money to have a nurse there to remind your parents to take their medication. And not only a nurse, a home caregiver cannot distribute medication. It is not allowed. We have a friend, a companion, that if you choose to set up medication for your family members, check in with them. Those are great. Those are private little things that you could do. But when you get into the healthcare world, there's, of course, things that you can and cannot do. And are they there for an hour or 2 or 3? That's going to cost an exorbitant amount of money to see those things. And let me tell you one other thing. We think that our parents need 24-hour care. Don't do that. Start off in intervals. Most companies begin in sending caregivers over anywhere between 3 and 8 hours. Why do I say this? Because it's true. We find out the critical parts. You're watching your parents. They want their privacy too. as we age fearlessly, that does not mean that we want someone hovering over us 24/7. Now, if there's other things involved, like comorbidities, okay, what is a comorbidity? A comorbidity is just a way of saying that you have another ailment, that maybe dad has a cardiac issue and I need to watch over him. Maybe he can't get up and provide the care, the self-care that he needs anymore. So when do you need that self-care? When do you need the difference between a companion, the difference between home care? Remember that home care simply means homebound. Mm-hmm. And Medicare covers, that comes with a doctor's order, of course, that you can get coverage under Medicare to have somebody come in your home for an hour, depending on the care plan that is provided for your doctor, for a certain amount of time to come in and fill those gaps so that you maybe don't need someone there 24/7.
Right. So everybody needs to do their best and find out exactly what their coverage is. Mm-hmm. Talk to their physician, make sure that the physician prescribes accordingly. Sometimes you need to ask the physician to do, not just to prescribe it, but to diagnose the elderly parent accordingly so that they also satisfy what they will be needing from Medicare. And just a quick reminder to our listeners and viewers as well that you can get the home health aides that come to the home. You can get the companions. They're not the same thing.
Which you're paying out of pocket for.
Exactly.
Correct.
But there are some companies that will send just the companions, but you also have a nurse from the company or another company that comes in once a week, takes care of the medication, leaves it all ready and set for the person, the elderly person, to take their medications on time.
So, Julie, you touched upon something that I know we're going to increase this because you and I are talkers and educators, of course. But later on in the program, you'll hear me talk at the end of hospice because too many people believe that hospice is just end-of-life care. I have patients on hospice that have been with us for over a year, over 2 years. And when you get to that point and to a loved one's life, there is a care plan, and you can have somebody there from 1 hour once a week to towards the end of the life to almost 24-hour care that's covered with Medicare, depending on the insurance. So that is very important. Do your research on these companies because each company takes different insurances.
Yes.
If your company does not take the insurance you have, call some others.
Yes.
Do the homework. Learn about all these other companies and what insurance is covered. And we're going to also talk about veterans benefits, which are very, very important, Julie.
Exactly. And we'll talk about that shortly. We do need to go on a little break. Rules or laws in Florida are different than they are in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. But we will be talking about this when we come back from the break.
Sturgis Lumber and Hardware has what you need for hurricane season. Lumber and plywood, straps, ties, and bolts, plus the service to find what you need. Be ready now. Sturgis Lumber and Hardware, US 1 Vero Beach. Be hurricane ready with Sturgis Lumber and Hardware. SturgisLumber.com.
Hi, I'm Ralph Winook with Dale Sorensen Real Estate and ResidentialRalph.com. When you're interested in buying or selling a home, contact me. As your agent, I will work non-stop to ensure that your buying or selling experience is smooth and stress-free. I will be there for you at every stage of the process to answer your questions and help you make an informed decision. So, why wait? Contact me, Ralph Winook, and schedule a consultation with me today. Visit ResidentialRalph.com. That's right, ResidentialRalph.com.
This summer's a great time to pack up the family and explore new frontiers in a Sun Camper RV. Our prices are hotter than the sun, and right now you can take advantage of wholesale pricing on all new Sun Camper RVs. That's right, all of our top quality, fully equipped RVs, 30 to 35% below retail. School's out, the great outdoors are calling. Save 30 to 35% on all new Sun Camper RVs. Your summer adventure starts at Sun Camper RV.
Your grandkids struggle. You've helped your kids through their struggles. What about yours? Back in your day, nobody talked about feelings, emotions, or mental health. Times have changed. It's your time to unstruggle. When life is a struggle, getting help shouldn't be. Unstruggle.org.
Advertising is essential. You've got to make people aware that you're there. We can do that with a cohesive marketing campaign from Evergreen Media. Based on your business goals, we'll create a mix of digital advertising on social media sites like Facebook, video advertising on streaming sites like Hulu and Paramount Plus, and supplement them with local TV and radio ads. Build awareness, educate, and inform the public with a cohesive marketing campaign by Evergreen Media. Check out egreenmedia.com or search online for Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
Hello and welcome back to Growing Old Fearlessly. I am here in the studio talking to my best friend, my soul sister, Kelly Papagikos, directly from North Carolina to Florida. She is here and we are talking about hospice. And we're gonna, first I need to thank my sponsor. Gosh, if I don't give him thanks, I don't know. He may get a little upset at me. Not really. Ralph Wanook with residentialralph.com. He is with Dale Sorensen Real Estate. And if you need to buy or sell your home, he is definitely the guy for you. Just reach out through his website, residentialralph.com. So now let's get back to our topic of hospice care. You are the expert. I give you the floor.
So before we get to hospice, I want to touch upon one thing about home health. I want you all to remember home health means homebound. And of course, many home health companies that you all may be with will roll over when the time is right to hospice. Understanding, Julie, that the rules in Florida, of course, are a little bit different than they are elsewhere in hospice. That's why it's so important to know your benefits, to know your benefit plan. To veterans, listen carefully. Get on your aid and attendance. That changes things incredibly. There's about an 18-month wait for those benefits for veterans. You want to make sure you're meticulous. Family members, beware. Meticulous in your how you're going to answer questions so that your veterans, your parents who are veterans, so deservingly deserve those benefits moving forward into the aging years of their lives. So moving over to hospice, you touched upon a great subject, Julie, eligibility. What exactly makes you eligible for hospice? You know, we all think that, let me give you a little history. We are the only country in the world that does not take our parents back into their home for end of life. We have tried, and we are trying to bring that to a difference where we bring hospice into the home, into the facilities. People did not know when I told them even last week that you can get hospice in an assisted living facility. You can get hospice in a long-term care facility. It is a benefit. It is an extra set of eyes and ears on your loved one. Wouldn't you want to know that somebody is watching over your loved one? We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know when the time or date comes for our loved one. But as we watch them decline, we want to make sure that the benefit of hospice is out there for all of you and that you're not afraid of that word in this country. You can also take your loved one out of an assisted living or a long-term care to bring them home and have hospice care in your home 24/7 for your loved one. Let's discuss just for a minute what quantifies hospice care. There are several disease processes that quantify hospice: heart disease, Alzheimer's and dementia, cancer if you are no longer seeking treatment, lung disease, sepsis, and actually there's several other, those are actually some comorbidities, but those are the major diseases. Nephrology, if you're on dialysis and you choose to get off of dialysis, you are now considered for hospice as long as you are off the treatment plan. And many of us decide to do those things towards the end of life. You and I both have friends who have suffered from cancer and who have been taking treatment and decide, you know what, I'm just going to get off all my treatment and spend the rest of my days at home. Again, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know when. let's discuss on getting benefit into your home, into your family's home, into your mother or father or loved one's home to help the family. Hospice is not only there for the person ailing with the disease. Hospice has 7 lines of service. You have an RN coming in to check on you. You have a spiritual counselor coming in to check on you. You have a social worker helping the family through this difficult process of making these decisions in life. Use them. Your family members have worked a lifetime to use that benefit. You deserve the comfort of knowing that that benefit is going to comfort you, your siblings, and everyone involved in your family care. It has been the most rewarding part of my life. I started off, as I told you, at neonatal care, and I'm hopefully going to continue in this part of my life, helping the family members navigate their way through all the benefits of what their Medicare benefits and other insurance benefits give them to help their family members through their hopefully many years of their life, but getting through these difficult times of aging and getting your family member through these times of the changes in aging, as we know.
So I've been a little quiet listening to you talking because it has brought back numerous memories of my mother's passing. And my mother had cancer, and we had to make the hard decision of not going through any further treatments. And hospice came into their home, my parents' home, and they were amazing. It was a great support system for myself.
Perfectly said.
For my brother, for my aunt who came into town to help at that moment. And they made it, I don't want to say easy, because I don't know, it just sounds weird to say that. But for me, they gave me peace of mind. And the nurse was coming, the doctor also came through, they would send somebody to bathe my mother and to wash her hair. And it was a peaceful moment in my mother's last few days. And that's all I can say about that before I start crying. So, and this is the thing, it's like, as their children, how do we help our parents make those decisions? How do we honor what they want, and how do we not force what we want to do on them?
Julie, those are all great questions, and I hope that we can continue this because it is important. Maybe we should do a segment on the children and helping, because those are incredible questions. And the peace and comfort, you had the experience, and that's where we end with the same thing that you started with. That's where your friends come in. Talk to people, find out, talk to your friends that have been through this, find out all that you can so that you can be there, so that you can navigate your own way through your parents' aging and elderly times.
Yes, and it is us at our age who have to deal lovingly with the changes in our elderly parents. And perhaps at this time in our lives, we are the role models for our children. Yes. So our children follow in our footsteps.
That's right.
And the same way that I know my mother took care of her parents when they were at the end of their lives. And I figured whatever Julia did, Julie has to do. And that is what I have been doing. Let's end this. We're talking about relationships and friendships briefly. I have something that Oprah Winfrey said. Actually, I have 2 things that Oprah Winfrey said. The first one is, the best gift anyone can give, I believe, is the gift of sharing themselves. And that is what we are doing with the elderly right now. The second thing that Oprah said was, lots of people want to ride with you in the limo. But what you want is someone who will take the bus with you when the limo breaks down. Kelly,
true.
I know you're in that bus with me, girlfriend.
That's right.
I look forward to it. Everybody, we will see you again next week. You take care. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.